Good day and welcome. Matthew here again. We are at the Manufacturers Cup. Group 3 at Sardegna Road, Circuit A in reverse. And that's a mouthful and a half for these tracks. But anyway, starting 6, right from the get-go, I wanted to get past Schnick as soon as possible. So he used a bit more revs early on. Didn't quite realise, didn't really pay too much attention that he was in Double H's slipstream. So I did not have the pace to get past him, so I burned a little bit more fuel than I needed to. I have a look up the inside here. I was being very aggressive early on. This is not really an overtaking place. I gave it a go. He runs a bit wide, so I was like, maybe I'll get him in the next corner, but just a bit too aggressive for this. I guess for this stage and for these types of corners. He goes wide, I give him a tap, so that compromised my run down to the next corner, so I wasn't going to get past him for now. I had to get past the Peugeot because the Peugeot was excellent on fuel consumption, and that was my biggest worry. Out of the cars ahead of me, the Peugeot was the one I was most worried about. So I wanted to get past him as soon as possible, use a bit more fuel, and punch it past him just to take that position, because I know how difficult this track is to pass. So I have a look up the inside of him down here. I'm just really annoying him at this stage. But he hangs out wide. I stay to the left. I give him racing room on the right hand side. I put the power down as hard as I can. Use a little bit more revs into 4th gear. Maybe he gives it up. Maybe he gets a bit sideways. I don't know. But he falls back and the Corvette goes past him. The Corvette also had very good pace, race pace. It is, so I didn't think it quite had the fuel saving capabilities of the Ferrari. But it was just something to watch. I knew it was fast and straight line. Double H was the next victim, and I walked past him. Talked to him after the race. The Audi is not great with its fuel saving capabilities, and he was just in a high fuel map and just could not match my pace, which I was running fuel map 1 the entire distance. So, just had the top 3 ahead of me. They're about 2 seconds up the road. I think Holland is about to go past Nick. And I just had to put my head down, concentrate, and catch up to those guys. But 1 lap, 2 places, a very good start. Heading into lap 5, I had caught up to the top 3 and had a decent run on Holland and Kenny. They're a little bit slow down the straight. I go for an optimistic move down the inside of Holland through the kink. I know this is not a place you go too wide, and I managed to pull it off with a little bit of contact, so we'll run back and show that again. So coming up to the back of Kenny and Holland, Nick had been passed by Holland temporarily and then repassed him, I imagine just saving some fuel on the draft. Anyway, I was watching these two. Holland moves over to the left. He must be in a higher fuel mix because he's a lot slower on the straight. I pulled to the left of him. I knew I was going to be hit by the kink. He gives me a tap through there. I really had the position by that stage, so he should have maybe let me go without the bump, but when the bump happened, all I was worried about was that he would run wide into the barrier. He did not. He kept the car under control, so I ended up taking the position in the end. It was quite a risky move, and probably one I didn't need to make then, but one I felt I kind of found myself in the position and just decided to go ahead and take it, I guess. So then on to Kinemos. Kinemos was the next target for the Ferrari. Running really good race pace. Getting his draft coming off that sharp right hander. I got a bit sideways, so not the best, but not the worst. And I just kind of walked past him. He must have been, once again, in a high fuel mode, saving some fuel. And easy enough done. And at this stage, I was about 2 seconds behind Mikosi, and I knew he had been a bit slower in the first few laps. So while I sort of caught him initially, I gained a 10th or 2 through a couple of sectors. And I thought, maybe it's on. But I also, in the back of my mind, I knew he'd been battling with, well, not really battling, but he'd let Holland go past, and he sat in Holland's draft for a lap. So he would have just been using a higher fuel mix to save fuel in the draft. So I suspected that he'd saved more fuel and was not going to be bothered by me at all. coming on to the last lap, Mikosi had pulled his lead out to about 3 seconds by this stage, so a couple laps on from before. So he had extra fuel on the tank and was making good use of it. And Kinemos, who I kind of just walked by on lap 5, he never dropped back. And that concerned me, like straight away, like I got past him on the straight and I figured, well, if he's going to be in a higher fuel mix, I'm going to be able to pull away at every straight. But immediately, he only fell back 0.7 of a second or maybe up to a second. So he never really lost touch with me, and I knew he had more fuel in the back of that car. And I was just waiting. I was waiting for him to come back at me, be in a position to attack. And lap 7 he was 1.3 behind. This lap he was 0.7 behind, and he was gaining on me rapidly through here. So I knew it was coming. We had a small incident, not even a small incident, but just a moment around here earlier where I lift off early for this corner to save fuel. So I knew he was going to attack here. I pull over to the right to defend the inside line, and I don't do a lift this time. I just brake deep into the corner, take the inside line. He's left around the outside. No real place to go. Less grip out there, and you're going to find yourself in the barrier. I thought that was the threat gone. But of course, when you race the top guys, you can never count anybody out for any moment. And I knew I might have to. I checked my fuel here. I had 3% left. I only need 2% to get round here. So I knew I could pull more revs if need be. And I figured that's what he'd be trying to do. I got a poor run through the exit there. But you see me shifting about halfway along the rev limiter. And he's coming. He's coming so quick. But not quite quick enough. I beat him by 0.014 of a second. Only just across the line. Couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. Just to show you what 0.14 of a second looks like across the line at 200 kilometers an hour, I had judged that just right. I would have been annoyed if I'd lost it at that point, because I'd run quite a solid race, running 42s the entire time, so it was really good pace from the Ferrari. And I know the Jag's quick in a straight line, and he had a good run off that last corner, and in my slipstream, I was a little afraid, but just came out on top this time. Stoked to get the second place. So that was it for the race. Another second place for the season. Really happy with the performance of the Group 3 Ferrari. It goes very nicely in these fuel limited races. Starting 7th, I wasn't so sure I'd quite get up there. I had some faith. Like, I know the car's got excellent race pace, but you've still got a lot of cars to pass. And this track, I love this track. It's a great layout. But doing it backwards is very difficult. Unless you've got a significant advantage, it's very difficult to find solid overtaking places. So I knew I had my work cut out for me, and I was relying on the other cars not having as good fuel efficiency to fall backwards. And that's why I was on such a mission to get past Schnick early on in the Peugeot, because I knew that car had really good straight line speed and really good fuel economy. So he was my biggest threat, and the Corvette following him that Matthew's driving there. So that was my biggest worry, and when I cleared him, then things started to fall into place quite nicely. So really good race, another good second place. We have got Nürburgring GP circuit next in the Group 3s again, so hopefully with some more fuel sucking goodness from the regulations at the moment. We should see Ferrari. Hopefully I can go one better. I do have to get better qualifying to do so. Starting 7th is not a good place if you're going to try to take a win. Mikosi's always going to be tough to beat the Mercedes. The Mercedes seems very good on fuel as well, and he knows how to save it. So it's going to be tough, but looking forward to giving it a go. Until then, thank you for coming along. Thank you for watching. If you do like what you see, give us a like, give us a subscribe, share the video with your friends and family. Otherwise, if you want to see these races live, I do them on Twitch every Wednesday and Saturday, New Zealand time. Links in the description below. Until next time, thank you, and bye-bye.